In this video, I want to work on an application problem. So you'll find the same application problem in your homework assignment. And I'm going to share my screen. So here we have a table of data, and it says that the table shows the number of dollars spent in country X in millions on environmental protection programs during the years 1985 through 1995, and X equals 1 corresponds to 85, whereas X equals 11 corresponds to 95. We're going to use the least squares regression on your graphing calculator to find the polynomial function that best models these data. And we're going to round the coefficients to 3 decimal places. So the question is, what type of polynomial are we dealing with? What is the best polynomial to match this data? And we have in your choices here, it looks like B and C are cubic, whereas A and D are quadratic. So which would be the best fit? So we're going to go ahead and look at a plot. So I'm going to plot this. I'm going to go second stat plot. And you can see that's on. So I'm going to make sure that that's turned on. And then I'm going to go to graph. And here's the scatter plot. I don't know how well you can see that, but it looks like if I were to draw a line or curve through these scatter points, there's a little bit of a rounding here and then another one here, and then it kind of levels off. So it's not really easy to tell what kind of curve this is, but I can see at least 2 turning points in that data. Here's one turning point and here's another one. So I'm going to say, since quadratic functions only have 1 turning point, I like the cubic model better than the quadratic because I can see at least 2 turning points here, right here and right here. So I'm going to stick with the cubic model, and I'm going to eliminate A and D. Now, in order to find the actual polynomial that best fits these, I'm going to have to enter the data into my calculator and use the least squares regression. So here I'm going to go ahead and press the stat button. Well, first let me stop sharing my screen so you can see that. Maybe this is better. You can see I have 2 turning points. Right here is one, and here's another. So I think the cubic model is the best for this data. I'm going to select stat to enter in, and then enter to enter in the values. You're just going to go down the list. You're going to type in 1, enter 2, enter 3, enter 4, enter 5, enter, and so on and so forth until you get to 11. Then that's it for list 1. Then you're going to move over to list 2 and type in 5.5, 5.5, enter, like that. So you're going to enter your data. And once it's entered, then you can go ahead and do the least squares regression. Now, watch what happens. If I press stat and then I try to go to calc, notice if I go down to, let's see, I've got to select what type of regression I'm doing. So I'm going to go down to 6. That's the cubic regression, and then press enter. And you just get there by selecting this button from your edit screen. And then you can either scroll down or you can just press the number 6 to get the cubic regression. And then we're going to go down to calculate, enter, and it gives us values. So A is 0.005, and we're told to round to 3 decimal places. So I would round this to 0.005. B is negative 0.102 if I round it up. C is 0.805 and D is 4.697. So if you look at your choices, going back to the homework screen, it looks like the choice that best fits between B and C is this one right here. And that's how you do this problem. And the next question, let's just take a look at that. We're given a graph instead of a table of data. It says to estimate the turning points. And there's a turning point right here at about 5:30. So I'm going to enter that in. 5:30. And then the other turning point looks like it's at 11:80. So I'm going to put a comma to separate, and it's 11:80. Okay. It says interpret the turning point with the low monthly average temperature. So the graph represents the monthly average temperature in degrees from January to December in a city that is modeled by polynomial function, where x equals 1 corresponds to January and x equals 12 corresponds to December. So you can see that the average temperature is dropping. And then here at this point, the average temperature then changes from decreasing to increasing. And then here it changes again from increasing to decreasing. So these are just the seasonal changes in weather. The temperatures are falling and then they start rising. And it's just the interpretation of this low point means the lowest average temperature occurs in the 5th month, which is May. And then the highest average temperature occurs in November. So the low monthly average temperature of 30 degrees occurs in May. Now we interpret the turning point with the high monthly average temperature. And here it would be in November, and that high temperature is 80 degrees. Right here. Because 11:80 is the turning point, and 11 is the month for November. Okay. This one is similar to the first one. I'll let you do that one. I hope that these videos help you get through these problems. Please reach out to me if you're struggling with these. Thank you.